Welcome back to another episode of Consciously Clueless. I'm your host, Carly, and I'll be your guide on this journey from consciousness to cluelessness and back around again. Thanks for joining me for another Sunday solo episode. Whether it's Sunday night and you're getting ready for your week, Monday morning and you're on your way to work, or whatever day this podcast has found you, I'm really glad you're here. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Is there something interfering with your happiness, or is it preventing you from achieving your goals? By now, you all know that therapy is an important part of my self-care. It has truly been a game changer in every aspect of my life. BetterHelp is the largest online counseling platform worldwide. They are changing the way people get help with facing life's challenges by providing convenient, discreet, and affordable access to a licensed therapist. BetterHelp makes professional counseling available anytime, anywhere, through a computer, tablet, or smartphone. You can start communicating within 48 hours. It's not a crisis line, it's not self-help. It is professional counseling done securely online. And I have a special offer for you. Visit betterhelp.com/Carly and join the over 1 million people taking charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. By using this code, you get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/Carly. Take care of yourself today. Thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this podcast. All right, today we are talking burnout. You know that feeling when something you used to enjoy or something even, let's say, that you didn't hate is just like suddenly the worst thing on your to-do list. Oftentimes it happens for people who are creatives, so writing, painting, anything, digital creation, anything like that, music, writing, whatever it is a thing. First of all, I think we need to acknowledge that too often people who do things for a living that others perceive as like living out their dream. Let's say you see the person who works full-time for themselves as an Instagram influencer, and you're like, well, that's like fun. They must be loving it. They obviously don't really take time off because it's Instagram or whatever. Maybe that's a weird example, but I think you get what I mean. There is this idea that in that world, or if you work for yourself specifically, there is no need to kind of step away because it's fun and you'll never work a day in your life if you love what you do. And I think that saying is bullshit. I'm going to call bullshit on that one, because even when I'm doing the things I love, I get burned out and I have to step away, and it feels like work to do that in the beginning. It feels like, this thing that I'm supposed to do, okay, let's say writing for me. I love to write, and so if I'm staring at a blank document, I am burned out. I have no creative juices flowing through my body. There is nothing going on, and it's okay to acknowledge that. I think that another thing that happens is we don't want to acknowledge that because maybe it'll make us less credible, or it'll make people think that our life isn't perfect, maybe. I don't know what it is, but I think there's some shyness away from talking about, I'm burned out. Specifically at the thing that you love doing, because then maybe ungrateful is another word I was looking for. But I think we have to say that. It's just a part of life to have to pause and reevaluate, and even if you're doing something you absolutely freaking love, you're going to have to do that, and sometimes it's going to feel like work. So first, I think we need to acknowledge that it happens, no matter what, whether it's in your 9-to-5 job that you hate, or your work from whenever job that you love, and everything in between. It all can cause burnout. And I wanted to talk about a few things that I do when that situation is arising for me. If I'm feeling really antsy, if I'm feeling like nothing is coming to my brain, like I literally can't complete a thought, the first thing I think about is moving my body. So if I haven't yet that day, I will maybe work out, go for a run, If I don't have time to do that, if it's in the middle of the workday, I will take a 5-minute dance break, like literally just put on your favorite song that you can't help biting your lip and tapping your toe to, so you have to get up and just move your body. There is actual science to this in terms of, yes, it just feels good, but it's raising the endorphins, and it's also moving the stagnant energy through your body. You are opening pathways up by moving your body. So doing that for even just like a couple minutes can kind of unclog things and maybe spark something. And I will say, I should have said this in the beginning, but none of these are cure-alls. These are things that work for me, not necessarily for everyone, and sometimes they don't. Like sometimes moving my body doesn't always work. It is my go-to. If you follow me on Instagram, you see that I'm pretty much having a dance party every day, but it's not gonna always work. So another thing that I think is really important is to walk away. So a dance break or a movement break for me just feels like a break. Walking away is really removing yourself from that headspace and saying, okay, I can't even look at this project anymore. I need to go do something completely different and focus on another project, another thing, whatever it is, get away from it. And for me, that means going and organizing or cleaning. That makes me feel at ease and like I have control over something. If I feel like I can't control this blocked, stagnant energy that I'm feeling, it feels so out of control, then doing something that I can see a tangible difference really helps my mind. So organizing, cleaning up, doing the dishes, whatever I can do to bring some order sometimes helps to kind of make things a little clearer, and then I can sit back down and have a better time at doing whatever it was I was trying to do. Last but certainly not least, and of course there's about 1,000,001 things you can do when you're feeling burned out, but these are 3 things that work for me that are just quick things to think about. The last one is getting inspiration from others. I think this is really, really important because all of the ideas and all of the things that we come up with are influenced by all these other things in our lives. Nothing is created in a vacuum, right? All of our experiences color the things that we produce. And seeing other inspiring posts about people who are living their dream and doing well, or maybe in your field, they are talking about something, whatever, you can get that inspiration and be reminded of kind of like why you're doing it or why you like it or why it interests you. Allow others to inspire you. It doesn't mean that I am implying anyone go out and plagiarize and copy paste here. Not what I mean. But allow yourself to be inspired by other people's work. And it's not even that the work has to be the same, just work that you look at and think, wow, that's so impressive. I love how that made me feel. When you are feeling that, you're putting those vibes out. You are getting closer to feeling that about your own thing and inspired about your own thing when you can be inspired by other people's inspiration, which sounds like a tongue twister, but I think you get what I mean here. Allow yourself to be inspired by everything, and especially by others, and don't shy away from that. And I think a good example of this, or a good way to do this, I should say, is really curating your social media. When you open Instagram or whatever your preferred app is, when you open that app, for me it's Instagram, when I open that, I want to see either things that make me laugh, things that make me happy, things that I can learn from, things that challenge me, like in a positive way, make me think about something or think critically, and to inspire. I want to be inspired by the things I follow. If you are following people or are friends with people who aren't inspiring you, and in fact they're doing the opposite and they're making you feel bad about yourself, that has a lot of effects on our psyche. And here's a little trick, if you didn't know this already, for Facebook and Instagram at least, you can just mute people or unfollow them, but not unfriend them, depending on Facebook or Instagram. So if it feels like you're obligated to be friends with someone on Facebook, I don't know why you would be. I hope you don't feel obligated, but maybe it's a family thing. You can just not see their shit. And I think that's okay. It doesn't mean you're putting yourself in a vacuum. As long as you're getting your information and you're learning about the world in other places, but your social media should not make you feel like garbage. Get inspiration from others. That's going to help with your burnout. If you're burned out and you open Instagram and you start scrolling through things that make you feel shittier about yourself, you are in a downward trajectory. And it's going to take even more for you to get past that burnout. So let yourself be inspired and intentionally curate people in your life that inspire you. Thanks for listening to another episode of Consciously Clueless. If you enjoyed this episode, hit subscribe wherever you're listening. If you're on Apple Podcasts, leave a review. It helps others find out about this podcast. If you really want to help me get this into the ears of more listeners, send it to a friend, text it to a family member, share on social media. Whatever you can do really helps me out. And finally, if you haven't yet, head over to patreon.com/consciouslycarly and look at the community over there. You can get vegan tips and recipes and yoga videos, meditation recordings, behind the scenes footage of podcast interviews, and so much more. Until next time.